Hello there, good evening to you. My name is Wayne. I am the Lone Headbanger, as you're very much aware by this point, I imagine. I hope you're having a good evening, no matter who and where or wherever you are. So, you've caught me in a more natural looking state this week. I've just finished work and I was like, you know what, it'll do. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to give you a little update as to what's been going on at this end, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about seasonal depression, as I promised I would. So, anyone who saw last week's video will know that I seriously injured myself a few weeks ago. Well, I didn't seriously injure myself. I did cut myself quite severely, but it's pretty much superficial, and it's just literally just the scarring, and that's about it. The hand still works just fine, and that's it's fine. So I had the stitches out on Friday, and that was fine, and I've had a covering on it for the past few days, and the covering came off this morning. I had a look, and the guys at Russell's Hall have done an absolutely brilliant job. It's like, it's been stitched that well and it's healed so nicely. I'm just so pleased and so happy that it, nothing, obviously it didn't do any more harm than the initial cut. So I really am thankful to the NHS and the guys at Russell's Hall for patching me up and forgiving me for my stupidity. So yeah, that will continue to heal. I'm on an orange one today. I had a nightmare last night which didn't really help things, so I've been in a bit of a weird mood. Plus the increase in medication hasn't really been helping me either. It's not so much a case of I'm feeling sad, I'm just feeling like spaced out and what have you. So just while I'm waiting for the meds to take full effect, 200 milligrams of sertraline a day is quite an amount. So hopefully we'll start to see the benefits of that soon. So at the moment I'm just a little bit woo kind of thing. So that's my end, and there is, I don't know if I mentioned this before because my memory is bad at the moment, but I'm also going to I'm going to go and get tested for autism and ADHD, because I think there's something deeper in there, and it's something I need to find out what it is so I can either face it and combat it or learn to live with it. But until I know what it is, I can't do much with it. I think I did mention this last week, in fact. But without watching the video back, I couldn't tell you. But that's where I am at the moment, so everything seems to be moving in the direction that I want it to, and then I need it to. It is going to be a long and arduous path, but I'm confident that things can work, and we can, and I can finally try and get better, try and heal myself. It's going to take a lot of work. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. It's inevitable. It's no joke. And anyone who thinks mental health is a joke, all you've got to do is go and see someone who suffers from it in the midst of a breakdown. It's not. I suffer with it myself, and I wouldn't want to, anyone to see that. It's not good. So, yeah, that's me. So what I did want to talk a little bit about. It's not something I'm massively familiar with. However, it is worth mentioning, as some people don't even know about it, I don't think. And it's what's called seasonal depression, whereby normal depression, depression is usually just a constant state of mind kind of thing with the odd up and down. But generally speaking, it's just a low state of mind that you maintain. Seasonal depression will hit you in varying times of the year. I know a lot of people who seem to get it when the summer ends and it's starting to get colder and darker on the nights. and just that onset of winter can really cause a depressive episode. And I must admit, much as I mean, I love winter. I was winter born. I was born December, and I hate the heat. I absolutely hate the heat. Just sweating. No thanks. You know, it's like I say. You know, if you're cold, you can add layers. If you're hot, there's only so much you can take off. So, but I find that my mood starts to slip when we start going into autumn. A little bit. I mean, generally speaking, I mean, my mood has been not great all throughout the year, but yeah, it really did drop not so long back. So it is something I experience, but I don't experience it greatly. But it is definitely something that I've felt. And that's just like this time of year. So there's so many people who are just, you know, just they're sad and they don't understand why. And that's all it is that. I mean, you could say that their body's adapting to the, you know, the dark nights and what have you, or you could argue that it's, I don't know, what do you want to say, phases of the moon or something like that, you know, add the mystical side of it, which is probably not a sensible way to go, but people will no doubt point to it. But it is a very real thing, and obviously people's moods then pick up. But from what I've seen, it doesn't have to necessarily be when you're going into autumn and winter, and it is, as I say, it is seasonal. So when you're approaching, you know, the season that triggers you, then yeah, your mood drops. It's really weird. I mean, the way the human body works and the way it produces stuff like, you know, your happy chemicals and whatever. It's so strange. But yeah, that can be an influence on you, and I think all you can do is just really be aware of it. You know, and you know there are plenty of things you can do in any season to try and make yourself happy. And I think that's probably the best thing that you can do is to try and combat your, you know, your sad feelings. It's a default solution, isn't it? That if you're feeling sad, do something that you like doing. It's like, well, you know, duh. But I know, especially this time of year, people feel kind of like, because obviously, you know, in the summer you go out and play football or whatever. Well, when the world's not in the midst of a pandemic. But generally speaking, you go out and play football, go to the pub with your mates and what have you. But there are things you can do in autumn as well, and you know, whatever month of the year you're in, whatever season you're in, there's always something that you can do. It's just a case of being a little bit creative. So if you can't go out so much, there are plenty of things you can do indoors, and even outdoors. You know, there's plenty of things you can do, plenty of places you can go. You just have to, as I say, you just have to be a little bit creative. But I don't think that's a bad thing in itself, because obviously creativity is one of the things that really gets things rolling up there. So it's no bad thing to exercise some creativity. And you've got to do what you can to keep a positive mindset. You don't want to go falling into the kind of realms of nonsense that that I drop into. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously, one thing with seasonal is, it is literally just seasonal, and if you can realise that's what it is, I think that would be a help as well. And you just got to try and ride the wave until, whichever season it is that's making you sad passes over, which is easier said than done, I know. But as I said, I don't particularly suffer from it. I don't think. Maybe a little bit, but it's hard to distinguish whether that's just my natural, or my already inbuilt sadness, or whether it is actually something else. But yeah, I didn't want to rattle on for too long this week. I just wanted to really, it was mainly about the update really, but I did want to mention the seasonal stuff as well in passing. I may do a proper researched video on it at some point. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there for this week. Obviously, I will do another one next week for Christmas Eve, as you do. But yeah, thank you so much for your support and for all the messages that I've received as well of support for for the what happened. I really appreciate it, and it definitely makes me feel like less of an idiot. You know, it wasn't a clever thing to do, and the fact that people have been understanding and forgiving, that's absolutely priceless. So I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Any questions or anything or recommendations for subjects for videos, by all means drop them in the comments or get me on Instagram or Facebook. It's all under the Lone Headbanger tag, so bring it on. And with that, I will say what I always say: it's a horrible world out there, and it's just damp and noisy at the moment, and it ain't good. But I don't know. Maybe you just got to learn to dance in the rain sometimes. Maybe. I need to buy a bigger coat first. But anyway, stay strong, stay safe. I will see you next week.